And well, Israel is sending a team of officials to the United States to discuss its planned offensive in Rafah, which the US has called a mistake, and has sought to persuade Israel to not follow through with. Israel has for weeks now stalled aid into Gaza, bringing the enclave to the brink of famine.
Joe Biden had his first phone call with Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu in 2 months on Monday, where he told him an Israeli operation in Rafah would deepen anarchy in Gaza. Tensions have risen between Israel and the US, its top ally, over Netanyahu's handling of the war in Gaza. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said later that Biden told Netanyahu Israel needed a coherent strategy rather than to smash its way into the war-torn enclave.
A major ground operation there would be a mistake. It would lead to more innocent civilian deaths, worsen the already dire humanitarian crisis, deepen the anarchy in Gaza, and further isolate Israel internationally.
On Sunday, Netanyahu had reaffirmed his pledge to push into Rafah in Gaza's southern tip, where more than half of the territory's 2.3 million residents have been sheltering to escape fighting farther north. However, after Biden's call, the White House said Israel agreed to send teams to Washington to discuss the way forward and would not proceed with a Rafah operation before the talks happened this week or the next. Meanwhile, Israel claims it killed 20 militants in a deadly clash at Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City early Monday. In video from Israeli forces, Israeli soldiers could be seen firing their weapons and moving into the compound. Gunshots and explosions were heard in eyewitness footage of the raid, which Israel says also resulted in the death of a top Hamas operative. Israel says more than 200 terrorist suspects were apprehended in Al-Shifa.
And our correspondent Jody Cohen sent us this report on Israel's next moves.
So as a storm is brewing in Israel, a political storm appears to be brewing as well. Prime Minister Netanyahu has implied that US criticism of Israel could be coming from local US electoral considerations. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has responded, suggesting that Israel weighs into US politics more than the other way round, but said it's not a question of public statements, it's a question of policy. Now, President Biden has said he's against an Israeli ground operation in Rafah because of concerns for civilians and aid. Now, it's interesting because US war expert John Spencer has said that the 31,000 Gazan civilian figure includes Hamas fighters and suggested that the ratio of combatant to civilian deaths is better than in military history. On aid, Israel has said that the UN agency UNRWA has not been distributing aid effectively because many of UNRWA employees are also Hamas operatives, and Hamas has been stealing most of the aid. Now, Biden has also said that Israel has the right to go after Hamas terrorists in Rafah in other ways. Netanyahu has said that Israel would evacuate civilians before any ground operation, but would first send a delegation to Washington to discuss these other ways with the Biden administration.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.